Hello out there and welcome to yet another interesting edition of Democratic Part. It's a weekly program and a platform that has been created to dissect issues that are directly related to democratic governance in Nigeria. Don't forget, by May this year, it will be 20 years of uninterrupted democratic governance in Nigeria. And today we are taking a look at another issue that is very, very key to the fast approaching general elections. It's going to be the 6th general elections in Nigeria since we returned to democratic rule in 1999. Welcome once again. My name is Tony Shodeke. This time around, I want to take a look at there is a set of people that what they do best in their lives is that they want to look at how governance is run and is run on the right track. There will always be a part that will be signed between those that are running for offices and this set of group, not for their own interest alone, but also for the general interest of the populace. And that is why I said we should focus on them this time around and say, why do they always take keen interest in governance, particularly under democratic rule? To my immediate right, I have the only female among us in the house this time around. That's talking about Professor Eileen Bodunde. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, the moderator.
All right. And next to him is another civil society advocate, somebody who always champion the cause of the generality of the people in our society and say how things can be run better so that our social security will also run at par with those that we have abroad. And that's talking about Mr. Shino Adefolaun. You're also welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Tunde Shodeke, and of course our viewers at home.
Well, of course, the last but not the least is one doctor in the house, not a medical doctor in a way, but an eligible voter. He does not belong to CSO, but of course, he's on the other side of the divide. So we want to also see how he can bring his own input into the question of why the CSO always take keen interest in election. Is it to give it credibility or to make sure that the processes are well conducted, transparently, and of course, creditably? And that's talking about Professor Abdul Fatai Abdul Salam. You're also welcome to the program.
Thank you, the moderator.
All right, it's nice.
Compliments.
Even your dress code suggests that you are ready for the general elections.
I feel so.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Yes, now, Professor Wadule, let me begin with you. Why does or do CSOs take keen interest in electoral process? Is it for you to make sure that the process is given credibility, or if you are not there, the election will not run the way it should be?
Thank you very much, the moderator. Maybe we need to know who the CSOs are.
Okay.
These are civil societies, civil societies of organizations or institutions, groups of people that is non-governmental. Okay. They have interest in the lives of people, socially, health-wise, and in all ramifications. And so if we are talking of election, that has to do with people as a whole. And so if you have a group of people whose interest is about how things can be done well for the masses, okay, then obviously their role is very important when we talk of election, because election is about getting people that will govern, okay, the general populace. Yeah. And so those who have interest in the general populace, when election is going to be held, then they have roles to perform. And so the civil society organizations, by virtue of why they come together as a group of people, has responsibility. They have responsibility towards making sure that election is free, fair. Okay. Free, fair. And to really make sure that the democratic process is real. And so that's why they have a responsibility towards this, towards encouraging the people to register, towards making sure that they understand the democratic process, and also towards making those that are charged with the responsibility of handling the election, that they do it in such a way that is free and fair, and they are not partisan. Then even for those that the political class who want to govern us, to also make sure that we make them do things in the right way. And of course, that the incumbent, the power of incumbency in short-changing, the other people who are involved in the election is removed. So that's why you need the civil society organizations to sensitize the populace, to sensitize the political class, to sensitize the organization that is responsible for handling of election.
Okay, so Mr. Adefola, it can then be concluded that maybe you also partake actively in midwifing, let's say, democratic rule in any nation. And if that be the case, is this template peculiar to Nigeria? Is that what we have all over the world?
Well, role of civil societies in ensuring a credible democratic process is a global thing.
Okay.
Basically, we are out to educate, we are out to sensitize, and of course, we are also out to conscientize the masses. Because when we talk about elections, it's about people, and what we are saying is that the people are surrendering their mandate to those that will govern them. And of course, by the time they are in government, there is a shift in the power arrangement. The people are no longer in direct control of power. And so, members of the civil society have a duty to ensure that along with the people, those that will put in the power of authority are the credible people that will not embezzle the public fund, that will ensure that take the interest of the common man in the street into consideration. If civil society is not active, that means members of the society could be docile. So our own duty basically is about, gingering the members of the community to be aware of their rights. And of course, in knowing their rights, they know that one, we have a duty to collect our PVC, to register and of course collect the PVC. We have a duty to to also participate in party arrangement that will lead to the emergence of the party nominating.
Well, I can put it to here, Mr. Adefola, that to me, from your little explanation that you just made, that you are trying to usurp the power of some agencies that government have set up, like NOAA, that's supposed to mobilize the electorate. The political class, of course, people can form political party. You have the freedom to form political parties and associations and things like that. So, is that not a way of usurping?
It is not about usurping. It is a collaborative thing.
Okay.
Because NOA cannot do it alone. INEC, the umpire itself, cannot do it alone. The security arrangements of officials cannot do it alone, ditto all other structures. It has to be a collaborative thing, so that by the time INEC is doing its own bit, NOA is doing its own bit, and of course, NOA, INEC, security, they are also conscious that there are still some groups somewhere that are also watching and monitoring, and of course, that can also say, people, what are you doing? You are sleeping. These are your rights, A, B, C. You have a right to this, you have a right to this. We need to tell them. So if people are not aware, then the security could come around and bamboozle the people. But by the time they are aware, people can easily call them, including the security, the political class, that no, did you remember that this is your manifesto? But with you coming into power now, you are deviating from what you have agreed with us. So if the civil society is not there to tell the people that these are the basic things, well, our politicians, power, they say it corrupts.
Absolutely.
So, absolutely.
Okay, Prof. Let me come back to you before I go to Dr. Abdul Salam. Then one can then infer that instead of being CSO, or because you are CSO, then your slogan one can proudly put that you act like check and balances on people, particularly those that are on the other side of the society. I mean, those in government, and of course, those that are being governed, so that you act like a bridge, like checks and balances, to make sure that policies, projects, and programs are well executed.
Yes, it's not far from there. And because we have a responsibility towards the people, we also have a responsibility towards the government. So if you say our responsibility is towards making the two parts to do the right thing. But let me also tell you that our responsibility is more towards the populace, in the sense that many of them do not really know they do not know, or they do really not understand the responsibility of the government towards them. And this is the time of election, this is the time for you to know that, if I am going to vote for this person, what does he have? What does he possess? What power has he to be able to do what he is promising? So the work of the civil society organization actually is to let the populace put the politicians into task and pin them down on what they want from them and what they want the politicians to do for them. And on the part of the political class, the civil society also wants them to know, make them to know that, don't promise what you cannot do. And you also don't just need to promise. These people have the responsibility to tell you that this is what I want. Not you saying, let me do this for you. A place where there is no water. They don't have water, there is no water at all there. And you just go there, when I come to power, I will give you
a viewing center.
Maybe a viewing center. Good. What would that one do to people? Even the common thing that they need is not there. But if it is from the bottom up, then you go to the local government. That is way before the time of election. What is it that these people need? And based on that, you come up with that. So it's not just for somebody to come and, you want this, and okay, we are voting. No, we are past that era. Okay, so that then even at the time of election, there are things that happen. And that's why the work of the civil society is to really sensitize the masses. This person is not doing it rightly. Or he was once there, he didn't do well. And this one wants to come. What is the antecedent? And so to really make sure that they weigh the candidates before them and see how authentic and how honest and how faithful they will be to deliver to them. Then the electoral process, just like he has said, people are talking now. Some don't even know where to, if it is start to thumbprint. Some don't even know of course we see pictures.
They don't know the party logo.
The electoral education, these are part of the responsibilities that CSO, we tell them, this is this is that, this is how you do it. When people will say, when you vote, stay. That's what people say. But when you look at the INEC, what the policy, you don't have to stay there. So and when you stay there, the tendency to foment trouble is there.
It's very, very hard.
So these are some of the things, these are our responsibilities towards the people. And of course, the political class. We also made them to realize that that's why I think a few days ago, the CSOs in Ogun State came up, and the TMG, we came up with a program. If you are coming in, this is what we need. That is the people. We call it the People's Manifesto. This is what we need. This is what we want you to do for us. Now, if you sign in, it is our responsibility that we take the government up as it progresses. At a point in time, you said that, then we have the checklist. After 1 year, how far have you gone with this? So we sensitize them. We are actually partners in progress.
Okay, so the contract between the government and the governed, it's like you midwife it and ensure that this is followed to the letter. So, Doctor,
and sensitize them towards fulfilling it.
Okay, Dr. Abdulsalam, you are an eligible voter. Of course, nobody needs to tell me that. You have come of age. You are more than 18. Now, has this in any way, the activities of CSOs, has that in any way been able to guide the eligible voters out there and make sure that, oh, we need to let whosoever is coming to campaign know our needs and then work towards these needs? Had that been able to inform their way of balloting or what have you?
I think we have to give it to them because they have been not only urgent but also visible in most communities.
Okay.
Don't forget that there are also consequences of various communities. And when they go back, they also cascade most of the things that they are doing at their level down into the community. So I think you have to give it to them. In my community, somebody, an NGO man, the vice chairman of my community, the politicians that are coming, he was able to use that as the technical training, no, the stuff is made of to hold these politicians accountable. That look, you are going there. It's not a question of no. We want this election to be credible, fair, and transparent. Okay. What are you doing as an individual, as a stakeholder? Have you been able to talk to your followers, or is it the question of carrying thoughts around? What are you want to do again? So I think we have to give it to them. They are doing their level best. They are creating the required sensitization with a view to achieving desirable results for this coming election.
Okay, has that in any way paid off? It's going to be 20 years by May of a return of democratic rule to Nigeria. Have they been able to bridge that gap so that we can say today there are visible projects that of social benefit, socio-economic benefit to the populace?
Well, the way I see it, I think there is a hope at the end of the tunnel. Okay. If you have not been achieving, I think this time around it will be a different thing entirely, because the awareness is higher now than what it used to be. They have been able to raise the political emancipation of our people so much that, for instance, some of them have been able to facilitate engaging these political party candidates to dialogue. One of us, this brother Tola Adedekan, partnered, was a partnership with the CAN to organize such. We have those people also, brother Lawal, for the Muslim community also. They're asking them to come, they are holding them accountable. Now, what are your programs? Let us see it. This is what we want to do. Are you sure all these are relevant to the need of people? Please go to the drawing board and let's be sure of what we want to do for us. I think they are doing their level best. We have to give it to them. I'm sure the chances are very high that we will see results.
Okay, Mr. Adepola, so okay, let's remove CSOs from our electoral process. Does that in any way suggest that the electoral process is not transparent enough, is not fair enough, that people will be changed in any way and things of that nature if we remove CSOs from the process?
Well, there is no way we can completely remove CSOs from the process.
But we can remove about 50%?
Well, we can remove about...
Because you said completely removed.
Completely removed.
Okay.
So invariably, you see, find out that 50% may not even work. Because CSOs are basically out there as an intermediary between the people and those that are governing them, checking the government, and of course, sensitizing the people that this is your own duty. These are your own obligations. And at the same time, drawing the attention of the government to it. Let us take the issue of the elections observation, which is still part of the election process. Where we don't have civil societies observing the process, the integrity of that process comes to questioning. That who is your witness? And I think in a way, that's a plus to the INEC itself, who is driving the whole process. That's where you can see this thing you're talking about, I have a witness. You know, in the law court too, when you have a case in the court, they will say, who is your witness? So INEC, in a way, will say, okay, I have a witness. Because we have people who are not into politics, and of course, they're also not into government, that have also observed. And let us see what they have observed on the field, to also know that whether we have fared well in midwifing that process. So it is a way of also saying, yes, okay, let us see who else to check. it's a way of checking, it's a way of maintaining integrity of the process, and of course, which is also good for the society.
Oh, okay. Professor Bolude, those CSOs write reports when you are involved in electoral process of this nature, that is, after observing the process, you have sensitized the electorate, and now it's time for them to cast the ballot. They've done that. You were there also to observe the process. So, do you people write reports after the election?
Yes.
So, if you do write, does it have any impact on governance and the electoral process at all?
It does, because you discover that after the election, you see bodies of either the civil societies within or those from outside the country, they come into the open, into the media. Just as the media has responsibility towards the election. But you know, we are not partisan. For media is also not supposed to be partisan.
Do you vote?
But he who pays the piper in most cases.
Okay, let me punctuate you there.
Yes.
CSO members, do they vote?
If you are participating, you will not vote.
How do
If you are going to, you know, it's not everybody that will be on for the election. But those that will be on for election at a particular
are not
location,
supposed to
they
vote.
can't vote. Because where you are going to observe is not your community. It's not where you are, you will be. So you may not vote. Because you are in a different community, there is no way you will vote. For those that are not engaged during the program, they can vote.
So get back to report or writing of reports.
No,
now.
so there is going to be, when you finish, you know, it's, for instance, if we have Abeokuta, where people cover the various polling units, of course, whatever information, and you know, we have levels of authority.
Yeah.
So at the end of it, they come together, talk about the observations, and write the report. And so it is also through the media, their own observations they made known. Those who are from foreign countries, who are also civil society, they will also come up, they also write on the observations during the election. Of course, they will make it known. There are in places, in this place, in so this local government or this number of polling booths, we observe this, and they put it down. We have cases because of such observations, they cancel the result of such places. Because when you have different, remember that you may have local civil society, you may have foreign, and what they write about a particular location is the same. It's also an evidence that the election there is not fully democratic. It is not fair.
Okay, now, Dr. Abdulsalam, if the CSOs are coming up with reports after elections must have been conducted, and you have the electoral umpire in case of Nigeria now, INEC, now having a conflicting report to that, maybe CSOs have given their preliminary report that the election was generally fair, free, there was no molestation, no intimidation whatsoever. But INEC is now saying, no, we are cancelling election in so-so area because of cases of this, of that, and that. Would that still build confidence in members of the public?
Now, the society group, when they monitor election, they are giving that election a degree of credibility. And that is why when there is argument about a particular result of election.
No, they are not supposed to go to that area at all about results of the election. It is not in their purview.
I know.
Yeah, okay.
But by the time the result is announced, people start manufacturing fallacies and what have you. The society will come up with a position. This is what we have seen as also placed, and this is a report. I think on the strength of their report, people can build confidence in yes or in the result of a particular place. Do you get my line of argument? For instance, if we have had instances where the political opponent will say, no, that election was rigged, there was so and so, but the report of CSO will show in clear terms that no, due process was followed, and what you people are saying are sharp fallacies.
And yet you see that political party or candidate, as it were, that contested the election in that disputed area still approaching the tribunal.
You know Nigerians now. Nigerian fact will always come in. Even when people know that they don't have any case, they will head for the court. No, so that's our tradition here. And it's a prayer that one of these we shall get over this. No, it's Nigerian mentality. Oh, we won't take that from them. We don't, you must not accept. Even when the person, the aspirant himself, knows the correct thing, the followers will go extra mile to confuse him. And don't mind you, this area of social media, even when the correct results are announced at the collation center, people will still find ways of using, this social media to falsify some results because they wanted to tell the aspirant what he wanted to hear. That is our style, because that is where the carrot comes from. So they will manipulate everything to make sure that what that man wanted was the actual thing that they told him.